The gun, he shot the house up pretty bad, but missed with every one. I can't hit a moving target, he muttered in disgust. I'd hire someone to do it, but there's no one that I trust. Well, 20 neighbors volunteered to do this grisly chore with a simple explanation. That's what friends are for. This kid, his dad died, and he called 911 and told the dispatcher, says, my dad just died. Could you send somebody out to get him? She said, where do you live? He said, on eucalyptus. She said, can you spell that? There was a long silence, and he said, can I drag him over to Oak? And they said the worst time to have a heart attack is during a game of charades. And I'm going with this gal, Jan, down in Merced, and she's about my age, and I was going with a gal, butt in on this, but about my age, and she was acting kind of silly. I said, act your age, and she died. But anyway, Jan's about my age, and I noticed lately she's been quit wearing a bra. I said, what's the deal at this stage of the game, not be wearing a bra? She said she found out to pull most of the wrinkles out of her face. Anyway, I guess everybody's heard, everybody's suing the tobacco companies for causing lung cancer. Now they're suing the fast food companies for making us fat. I'm thinking about suing Budweiser for all the ugly girls I went out with when I was rodeo. And how much time have I got? Oh, 10 minutes? Okay. Because I got a long one here. I didn't know whether to go into this long, boring, seemingly endless story, but yeah, back at what's new, huh? But back in the 50s, when my brother and I were rodeoing, why there weren't hardly any winter rodeos in California to speak of. And after Cow Palace until the 1st of February, there was just hardly any rodeos, so we'd have to find something to keep body and soul together with. And several years we stayed with a Benny Myers south of Sonoma, and he was a horse and a cow trader, and he didn't charge us much for room and board. The trouble was we had to listen to his endless cowboy accomplishments and Wild West stories, and not only act like we believed them, but pretend like we enjoyed listening to them. But if we worked, he let us use his corrals. But he'd always make us start in a corral right south of the barn closest to the house, because he spent most all of his time in the house drinking coffee, waiting for a customer to come in. But where he was sitting there, he could see this first corral. And that was all right, just something exciting happened, he wouldn't miss it. He had a bunch of kids around there, kind of wannabe cowboys and everything, but the minute it started to rain, the water off the barn would run into that corral, the driveway drain into it, the calf pasture in the back would drain into it. It wasn't very long till it was just hub deep to a Ferris wheel in slop in there. And then he would let us move out into a higher, drier corral. And it had gotten like that, and we moved out into the corral behind it there that was higher and drier. Had a few freezes and some sun and the north wind blowing, and that sloppy corral had kind of crusted over. Well, this kid came out, and he was dumber than a brain-damaged turkey. But his dad had a lot of money and had sent him to college for quite a while, and the only good it did is he would say a real stupid thing, but he used great big words saying it. And once he got something in his head, there was no change in his mind. He went to college, you didn't, so we'd moved out, and like I said, the thing crusted over. He came out one day, and he swung the gate open, was going to walk kitty-cornered across this corral to the barn, and I said, no, don't go in there. You'll sink clear to your knees. It's just crusted over the top. He looked real thoughtful and he said, if a guy got going fast enough, the momentum would carry you right across the top. You'd never break through that crust. I said, I'll take a run at it. He swung the gate back and backed across the driveway and took a run, went slop, 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 clear to his knees, backed out, and he's kicking the gate post and wiping his legs on the boards of the corral, and I'm having a good laugh. He said, I wasn't going fast enough. Well, I was riding the colt going pretty good, and I said, if you think speed will keep you on top, I can come around there and get you going fast enough. I'll show you the rope off this colt, and I'll get back, and I'll go right on by the gate, and you turn in when you get there. I should have you going fast enough to stay on top. He said, okay. Well, I almost knocked the hip down getting around there, and we backed down, and I threw him the rope, and I really got after this colt. And when I went by, I glanced back at him as I went by the gate, and he had his head back, tongue run out, eyes rolled back, and he's taking steps 15 feet apart. When he got to the gate, he threw the rope in the air and turned in. Well, he stayed on his feet about 2 steps, then tipped over, and with his face just plowed a furrow clear across that corral. He made it almost all the way across. He slowed down, came to a stop, and he sunk. And I thought, oh, man, he's probably hurt himself. I'm going to have to wade out there and get all nasty, or he's going to drown. I was just about ready to go out there, and he got up and come up on these hands and knees and kind of shake it out of his ears and spitting and coughing. And I told him, I said, you know, you kind of proved your momentum theory, because as long as you were still moving, I could see about half of you sticking up out of the manure. But the minute you stopped, you sunk. Now, I said, I still don't think you were going fast enough. And I said, I could hook the rope on that bumper of my pickup. And he started screaming and cussing, and Benny ran out and made me quit picking on him. So I never found out how fast you had to go. But the reason I told this long thing here is this: Benny, every year would throw himself a surprise birthday party. And and I cartooned for the Rodeo Sports News and stuff. So he wanted me to draw him a picture or write him a poem about his birthday or this or that. And I did. And I told the poem one time without setting it up, let him know what kind of an outfit it was. And this one woman said, that's kind of obnoxious and crude. And it is, you know, but that's the beauty of it. But and the poem was, remember my old partner Benny Myers, who sold his ranch and bought that little store? Well, I hear they got him in a rest home now, and he don't get around much anymore. My God, the years have sure been rough on Benny. Is this the way that life was meant to end? The only thing that he can ride's a wheelchair? That ain't a fit and finish for my friend. So I smuggled in a pistol in my waistband. I'm going to make it quick and sweet and done. He saw me when I reached and grabbed that pistol, and my God, now he can make that wheelchair run. But I think I winged him when he made the corner. But excitement makes it awful hard to aim. I guess he's going to make me do it piecework, so he's only going to have himself to blame. I tracked him from his slobbers down the hallway and what looked like little bloodstains here and there when the wheels on his old chair began to wobble and he's puffing like a preacher's wind-broke mare. Well, I cornered Benny in the ladies' bathroom where he's swinging some old plunger in defense. He's cowboy to the bone, I can't help thinking, and I have a little laugh at his expense. Now, omitting all the morbid, grisly details, I soon set things the way that they should be. And I reckon my old partner's up in heaven now, and he's lucky that he had a friend like me. He died a couple of years ago, 94 years old, and they said that was his favorite poem, and every birthday he'd recite what few bars of it he could remember. And I've got a book for sale, and a friend of mine was telling me, said that he didn't want to pay full price for it, so he went on Amazon and bought it on Amazon. He said under the book it said most people who bought this book also bought a piece of rope and a stool. And like I said, I'm living alone now. I lost my wife and everything. But the one only advantage to this is since I've been living alone, I've noticed all my little annoying habits have vanished. And Ron and Marie, okay, but just one more. I'll quit just a second. Just got to tell us one joke about you and Ron. They put all these other people up in real fancy hotels and rooms, and they got me in a little sleazy motel out the edge of town. And last night I called down to the clerk and I said, I got a leak in my sink. And he said, go ahead. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks a lot.